Shaukat， 一个从小立志要成为职业摔跤手，但却因为马来西亚根本没有这个行业的存在而无从下手。直到某天受到导师 Booker D 的启发后，他毅然决定徒手把不存在的行业一点一滴奠基起来，成为了马来西亚职业摔跤之父。不只是第一位受邀到美国比赛的大马摔跤手，将大马文化呈现在美国电视荧幕。他打造的比赛还被多位传奇制作人表扬，甚至在最近 APAC Wrestling 还成为全东南亚有史以来第一家跟 WWE 合作联办大赛的团体。这到底是怎么做到的？今天就把 Shaukat 邀请来介绍他的摔跤历程，以及自己运营的 APAC Wrestling 到底是怎么样的一家团体。My first question will be, how did you start your pro wrestling career?
I think I grew up like any other average boy who was born in the 80s. Most of us will grow up watching pro wrestling, and I think that's a very normal thing. If I speak to my friends who are around my same age, a lot of us grew up watching pro wrestling. And I think ever since I first watched it, I can remember as young as when I was 4 years old, I fell in love with wrestling immediately. And I can even remember very clearly the first match that I watched was Undertaker versus Kamala. And ever since I watched that match, I somehow knew that it is something that I would really love and enjoy. The larger-than-life characters, the storytelling, everything was so amazing. And ever since then, I've always set in my mind, in my heart, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. Even through primary school to high school, even when I was in college, my main aim was always to become pro wrestler. Then 2023 was when I finally decided to, take that step. After being convinced by Booker T, after I met him during a meet and greet contest that I won, so I had lunch with him and I asked him, I said, I wanted to become pro wrestler, but there's no pro wrestling in Malaysia, so what should I do? So that was why Booker T advised me and said, if there's no pro wrestling in Malaysia, I think you should take the first step and open it up. So I took his advice to heart, and that was when I started training pro wrestling on my own, and then I opened up my first pro wrestling school in 2015.
At first, it was an APAC Wrestling, right?
Correct. At first, it was called First Ketua Gusti Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Briefly describe what was the journey like moving from PGM to APAC Wrestling?
Okay. Especially, I think because in Malaysia, pro wrestling is considered to be something ridiculous. The industry does not exist. And ever since when I've always stated my intention of wanting to be a pro wrestler, I've always been laughed at and ridiculed for wanting to do so. And one of the main reasons why a lot of people think and believe that it couldn't work was because there was no such industry in Malaysia. So I had to be the very first person to open it up and see how it goes. So the first 3-4 years was such a struggle in a sense where a lot of people did not take me seriously. They thought it was just a bunch of kids playing wrestling, people who were not serious with their career. They thought that the whole thing was ridiculous. But we persevered, we just continued on. And like for me, I was struggling definitely financial-wise. Imagine running a pro wrestling school with only 4 students for the first 2 years, and you have to tank everything on your own. Like for me, I have family to feed. And at the same time, I had to pay the bills for the school and everything. And the fees wasn't much. It was just back then 120-ish ringgit per person. So it definitely did not cover running costs at all. So I had to do sometimes 7 to 8 jobs at the same time just to make sure that I was able to cover the cost and the bill and everything. And that was when, for me, I felt and I believed that it was the hardest period for me. But then, when we start doing shows more often, that was when the Malaysian fans start to see and realize that, wow, these guys are actually good. I think they are up to something. And when that happened, more and more people joined. Our student base grew, our fan base grew. I still remember our very first show, we had less than 20 people showing up. And now we can easily draw over than 500 people per show. So I think that we've grown to become such a big industry. For me, I'm quite happy with whatever that I've built so far, and I can only see us growing more from now on.
That's really inspiring, and I know promoting wrestling has never been an easy job. Like I said just now, at first people thought you guys were just like my wasn't even serious about it. But even today, there are still people who will say wrestling is fake. There's nothing to be proud of. You receive this kind of comments every day. I receive this kind of comments almost every time I post a video on social media. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about, here in Malaysia, right, there's a sizable group of people who will say, hey, when I can watch WWE, AEW, TNA, or New Japan Pro Wrestling on television, then why would I want to pay and give support to like a Malaysian wrestling show, what would you say to those people and how would you prove them wrong?
Okay, so basically, just to touch a bit on the hate comments that you receive, right? It's exactly the same as what I receive as well, especially even when I've achieved so much on an international level. Like I'm the first Malaysian to make it to American TV on the CW channel through Reality of Wrestling and OVW. They still comment things like, but it's fake. So what is there to be proud of? Here's the thing though, a lot of people who comment like this, they still don't understand that it's 2025. Everybody knows that pro wrestling is performing arts. Everybody knows that pro wrestling is scripted. Even the fans are in on it. Every fan of pro wrestling knows that it's this whole package, theatrical theme. Exactly. So they are the ones who are actually, like convincing themselves like, oh, I know something. I should share with the world my revelation. But when truth is, they are way behind where everybody else is at this moment of time. And for me, I do believe that being the first Malaysian to appear on US TV through pro wrestling is a huge accomplishment. I would say that I'm the first anak seni or the first artist in Malaysia to make it to US TV on a consistent basis. So for me, I'm very proud of that fact, and I think it's a very huge accomplishment. And then to answer the next question again, what do I say to people who say, why should we support local wrestling when there's WWE or New Japan or TNA or AEW? Here's the thing, if they have that mindset, it just pretty much proves that they are fans of certain brands. I'm a fan of WWE, I'm a fan of New Japan, I'm a fan of AEW, but they are not fans of pro wrestling. Because true fans of pro wrestling will most likely support almost everything they watch. Like for me myself, I've never had that tribalism thought of, like, oh, I only enjoy WWE, I don't watch New Japan, I don't watch AEW. I do respect different styles of pro wrestling. I enjoy knowing that there's more companies in this world that is promoting pro wrestling because I love the art itself. And I think when people comment that way, it just shows how narrow-minded they are to the point where their focus is solely based on that. And to think that they would compare us to, industries that has been there for over 100 years, for example, it's pretty ridiculous because pro wrestling in Malaysia has only been around for like 11 years. And if we convert that into human years, we're just young adults. We're children. You're still essentially children. We haven't even reached high school yet. When the other industries are like grandpas and, centennials, so on and so forth. So it's very wrong to compare something with vast difference of experience and everything. But I think if you're a true pro wrestling fan, you should definitely try and give APAC wrestling a try.
The diversity of pro wrestling today is something to be celebrated. The tribalism of wrestling is like crazy.
Definitely.
There's a pinned post on APAC Wrestling's social media pages where we see Gabe Sapolsky praising you guys. He said the show was one of the best he has ever seen when reviewing one of the previous shows. So, is there anything else you are comfortable sharing with us from the meeting with Mr. Gabe Sapolsky?
Yeah, so Gabe Sapolsky is he's a legendary individual in the pro wrestling industry. He was the founder of Ring of Honor. He founded Evolve Pro Wrestling. He is now the scout for WWE. So for somebody of his stature to say something like how APAC Wrestling is one of the best in the world that he's seen, for me it's something big. And it shows that we are on the right track. Yes, it's very difficult to be very young in the industry. You don't have peers around you who are as senior as those in the United States or in Japan. So sometimes we feel like we're lost. Sometimes we feel clueless. Like, are we actually doing the right thing? Is this what we're supposed to do? So when we have somebody as legendary as Gabe Sapolsky saying that APAC Wrestling is one of the best that he's seen in the world, I think that just boosts our confidence and proves to the world that we are up there with everybody else.
Reality of Wrestling 简称 ROW 是由 Booker D 创立的独立摔角团体。从这里毕业的著名选手包括 Sammy Guevara 和 Roxanne Perez， 也有像 Zilla Fatu 这样潜力十足的选手在活跃比赛。就像开头说的那样 ，Shaukat 是第一位登上美国摔角节目的大马选手，所以我就好奇他是怎样被邀请去到 ROW， 以及他又在那里做了什么。How did you get a call to appear on the show?
Okay, right. So basically, in the year 2020. When the whole pandemic was going on, I am always the kind of person who would always try to find things to do to grow. I cannot sit still and do nothing. And everybody knows during the pandemic, we all had to stay home and pretty much felt entrapped. We couldn't do anything. So what I did was I used the power of the internet and I started looking for mentors online to help me improve my pro wrestling game. So what we would do is I would reach out to mentors who are veterans in the industry. They would watch my matches and then comment on how I can improve. So one of my mentors is Sin Bodhi. Sin Bodhi is a former WWE superstar known with the name Kizarni. He is also now the head coach for Jake the Snake's Robert Pro Wrestling School, Snake Pit, Las Vegas. He found out that my wrestling is quite high quality, as par as those in the United States, and even more surprising because I'm somebody from Southeast Asia. We don't have veterans to teach us the proper way of pro wrestling. So when he watched my matches, he was surprised of how good I was. He shared my video around. So that was when my video reached to Booker T. Booker T is the founder of Reality of Wrestling, 2 times WWE Hall of Famer. If you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm pretty sure you know who Booker T is. He watched the match and then he was surprised himself about how good my pro wrestling is. That was when we scheduled a call via Zoom. So during the meeting, that was when he shared with me his intention of bringing me to ROW to have me appear on US TV and try to show my skills to the United States audience. From there, I told him and I asked him, like, do you remember you came down to Malaysia back then in 2013? He said yes. And I asked him, do you remember you had lunch with one of the contest winners and there was a boy who asked you about an advice of becoming a pro wrestler? Then he straight away clicked in his mind, said like, wait, that's you? I said, yes sir, that's me. So that was when, as soon as I said that, he had tears coming out from his eyes. He had goosebumps because for him it was a full circle moment. He cannot believe that a small advice he gave, at that point it was 6-7 years back, that when he met me, suddenly now there's an industry in Malaysia and I've grown to be someone who he respects. So it was a very sweet, beautiful full circle moment, and ever since then he fought hard to get me down to US. And that was how I got my debut in ROW. And ever since then, my appearance on ROW has been very highly talked about by industry legends and veterans, to the point it got out to El Snow as well. El Snow is the booker of OVW. OVW is one of the oldest and most famous pro wrestling schools in US and promotion as well. It created the careers of wrestlers like Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton, and many, many more. So for me, it was a very huge honor to be the very first Southeast Asian to appear on OVW. I got a call and they arranged something where I can appear per episode to see audience response and everything. Same thing. I made my appearance there, they loved me so much, and if I wasn't here in Malaysia, I would be there in US doing both RW and OVW consistently.
Talk about appearing on the Reality of Wrestling show, and you are the first Southeast Asian to be on the show. I think you're also the first one to represent the culture of Malaysia. I would say the Malay culture on the show. There's one episode where you gave away your tanja to a kid. Explain more on that.
Okay, so I'm very proud to be a Malaysian, and that's just the truth. Because I do believe that we are underrepresented by the media worldwide. I mean, thankfully there are people like, Dato' Michelle Yeoh and Henry Golding who are representing us, but I don't really see them representing local culture as much as I wish they can. But that's not on them. Because Hollywood, they write scripts and they're just playing characters that they have to play. So for me, I'm blessed to be able to choose my own character and build my own character. Usually when it comes to pro wrestling promotions, we are given characters, but because of how unique my character is, promotions like OVW, ROW, they didn't want to change a single thing because they love the way I look and everything. And I do believe that I play a very important role in representing the Malay culture, mainly because I've seen in Hollywood, everybody knows the Filipinos, everybody knows the Thais, the Singapores, but when it comes to Malaysians, they still do think that Malaysians is mainly Chinese. And not just that, we have seen in Hollywood culture coming from India, culture from China, and many more, but we have never seen Malay culture being represented on Hollywood. That was one of the reasons why I believe that I should have represented the culture. And I think it was a very right decision because like everybody loved it, especially the children there. Because when I appear, they see me like a superhero. And I was so famous among the children to the point where after the shows, there will be children waiting for me outside the arena wanting to take photos with me and everything. So this boy, I would see him waiting for me all the time outside the arena. I would stop, take photos with him. So that was one time when during the episode you saw, right? Then I saw him and I remember his face very clearly. So it was just a spur of the moment kind of thing. I did not plan to give him anything. It's just that because I saw him and I felt how much he adored me. So that was when I decided to share with him a piece of me.
And I also heard this from another interview that you did many years ago. In ROW, you are the go-to guy that people who go for advice because you are some sort like a coach there, being appointed by Booker. Is that true?
Not really. I'm not really a coach there in ROW, mainly because there are a lot more people there who are much more experienced, who have done it longer. But a lot of people will come up to me mainly for advice because I've been in the industry longer. Although there are people who are more experienced in me in the sense of match-wise, mainly because the industry is so huge there, but very little of them has done it longer than me because I've been in the industry for like 11 years now. So they still want to find out my insights and they love the way I cut my promos and I edit my own videos. Because if you see all the video packages of Shaukat in ROW or in OVW, it's shot and edited by myself. So they love my storytelling and it's something that everybody looks up to. So they would always come for me to advise. But one of the things that I'm very proud of is the fact that when it comes to pro wrestling matches, there are always producers assigned to the matches. But when it comes to my matches, Booker T would always give me 100% freedom to do whatever I want because he trusts in my ability to produce matches. He trusts in my ability of carrying ring psychology to the max that I can. And I think what you were referring to was my stint at JPWA, Jacob's Pritchard Wrestling Academy, that is owned by Kane and taught by Dr. Tom Pritchard. So I went there and they had me do a guest class with the students there where I share my insights on ring psychology. Because a lot of the veterans there, they do believe that my ring psychology is up there in the industry.
What are some things that you've learned in the United States that you have already applied here in APAC Wrestling?
I think the best part about me is that I am a sponge. I love to learn new things. I love to absorb new things. I'm very open to criticism and feedback. There are a lot of people in the industry with very high egos who would not receive criticism well. But for me, whenever a veteran comes up to me and say like, Shaukat, this is what you need to do to get better and everything, I would absorb 100% because for me, I do believe that these guys have been there and done that and they have been doing things that is way longer than I have been doing. So I'm pretty sure they know what they're saying. So I'm very open to feedback and criticism. So whatever they say, I would bring down and I will share with my students. And one of the things that I think the biggest that I've applied here in Malaysia is mainly the production side of pro wrestling. Because as you can see, I think in Southeast Asia, the most high value kind of production comes from APAC Wrestling in a sense of setup, audio, visual, camera work, editing and everything. That is what most of them love the best about APAC Wrestling is our production value.
Let's move on to SlamFest. And on the best, when the two logos come out this way, everyone went nuts. That was crazy. How did this all come together? Like, why was APAC Wrestling suddenly able to strike a deal with WWE?
This has been something that has been in discussion for a very long time. I've been in contact with Gabe Sapolsky for over a year now. He is one of the bosses of WWID. And ever since he saw our shows, he fell in love with APAC Wrestling. He thinks that we are up there with some of the best promotions in the world. And that was when we discussed the possibility of having WWID guys over. Because he do believe that some of the APAC wrestlers are up there as well. But we came up with this scenario, what if APAC wrestlers were to go up against WWID superstars? Because so far he's seen only APAC versus APAC. So maybe it's time to see what if APAC wrestlers go up against somebody of WWID caliber. So the idea was slowly sit up and then we slowly, make it happen. And then just so happens that Coaction, the co-organizer of this event, they came up to me and said like, hey, we want to work with you guys to bring up pro wrestling in Malaysia. What is your idea? So I pitched to them this crazy idea of doing APAC wrestling with WWID. They loved it. That was how SlamFest happened.
How were the matches decided? Are they like random matches?
Okay, so the people in APAC wrestling were selected and it was vetted through as well. through my discussions with Gabe. So we watch all the matches of APAC Wrestling, and he handpicked the ones that he feels have potential. So the ones who are going up against the WWID are the ones with the highest potential. And the WWID guys are mainly my choice. So there's a whole catalog of WWID pro wrestlers. I had to choose and then present my idea, and they loved it. So that's how the match card came along. So I cannot wait to see how this unfolds. I cannot wait to see how my boys and girls go up against those guys, talented guys from WWID.
Then what's your end goal for APAC Wrestling? Do you hope to build up more local talents to the point where one day when it's step back and then without worrying about the star power or lack of attraction? Or do you have a place in your heart where you want to take APAC Wrestling to it?
I've pretty much two main goals for APAC Wrestling. The first is I wish to grow it to the point where it becomes a big entertainment in Malaysia, in the mainstream scene, like how WWE is in the USA, how open people receive it, how it is widely celebrated and loved. So I wish to bring APAC Wrestling to that level here in Malaysia, even in Southeast Asia, hopefully one day, because I do believe that I have the expertise to make that happen. Secondly is I do wish that APAC Wrestling can produce the first WWE superstar. And with SlamFest 25, I think it's closer than we can expect, and it's definitely proof that things like this could happen. Like 10 years ago, who would guess there might be a Malaysian pro wrestler in WWE? But I think with SlamFest, it just proves that we are just as good as those guys, and one day you'll see a Malaysian from APAC Wrestling making it to WWE.
Do you have anyone in mind who's going to be the first one to step into the WWE ring?
I have my favorites, but I'm not going to name names, mainly because I'm also the coach here, right? And if I mention names, it is human instinct to have overconfidence. So if they know that their name is up in my head here, they might slack off, they might feel comfortable and not chase anymore. So like for me, I would prefer to keep it secret in my heart, just so these guys will work extra hard to continue pursuing their dream. So I don't want people to get too comfortable and slack off.
What way of coaching? Right, lastly, I'm going to end this interview with two quick questions. Number one, if there are any wrestlers from other countries interested in performing in APAC Wrestling, how can they reach out to you all? Number two, what can fans expect from the upcoming shows moving forward?
Okay, so any wrestlers in the region, I think SlamFest has proven that it is the perfect platform if you want to be seen by scouts of bigger companies like WWE. And I welcome everyone with an open arms, but you guys must be very well prepared as well, in a sense where if you offer yourself to me, I will consider you definitely, because for me, I always believe that everybody deserves a chance, but you need to make sure that you are the best that you are, the best shape that you can be, you have the best costume, you have the best ring work, you actually train in pro wrestling, because there are a lot of pro wrestlers who claim that they're pro wrestlers, but they don't go to the gym, they don't take care of their body, they don't invest in ring gear, they don't train pro wrestling as much as they should. So please be prepared, because we have the eyeballs on our product, but you need to make sure that you deserve the eyeballs. And secondly, APAC Wrestling is very strict in a sense where we have our own QC of how we want matches to be, because I produce the matches, I give my insights and criticism. So a lot of pro wrestlers have this problem of listening to others, because they have this ego going on with them. And if you want to work with APAC Wrestling, just that two things. Be prepared and make sure that you are the best that you can be. And second is be open to work with me and my goals for APAC Wrestling. Second question was?
Last question is, what can fans expect from the upcoming shows moving forward?
Okay, so SlamFest is definitely something that every wrestling fan should come to. And I'm pretty sure that if you have never seen an APAC Wrestling show before, come to SlamFest and watch us, you will be converted into fans immediately, and you'll stick with us forever. But I'm being very realistic in a sense where I understand that there's no sponsors in Malaysia and everything. Everything comes from my own bankroll. So it's very difficult to put on consistent shows all the time. It's very difficult to get in big stars all the time. But I promise you that APAC Wrestling will present with you the best quality wrestling you can see. And I'll try my best at least once a year to have a mega show like SlamFest, so you guys can enjoy having presence of high quality global superstars on Malaysia.
Then lastly, the remaining time is reserved for you to promote either SlamFest 25 or APAC Wrestling itself.
So Okay, two things. Okay, let's go one by one. APAC Wrestling. APAC Wrestling is the place to be if you are serious about pro wrestling. We have world-class syllabus developed by legends in the industry, and at the same time, as you can see, and it has been proven time by time again, that we have important eyeballs watching our shows. So that pretty much means that if you are part of APAC Wrestling, you will get important eyeballs watching you as well. And it's always about having important eyeballs when it comes to trying to move forward in your career, no matter what the industry is. And we are ready to help you with that as long as you are ready to commit and learn and train. And pro wrestling is a very tough thing to be in. My style of coaching is not easy. I have very high QC, and I do attribute my style of coaching with the reason why we are so successful. Because a lot of people who has trained under me, they would run away or leave because they cannot stand the way that I coach. But for me, I do understand that a lot of people have different mental capacities. A lot of people cannot take that kind of training. But if you want elite results, then APAC Wrestling is ready to give you elite results, as long as you are willing to give elite commitment. Simple as that. So we are open for anybody who wants to join us. You can go to www.prowrestlingschoolmalaysia.com and find out more about us. SlamFest 25, again, just if you're a pro wrestling fan in Malaysia or in Singapore or in Brunei or in Thailand or anywhere in Southeast Asia, if you want to watch it live, if you want to experience having a former WWE champion, if you want to see world-class future superstars of WWE, please come and watch us. And at the same time, I promise you, we will convert you to become fans, and you can get the tickets, or you can also watch it anywhere live streaming worldwide through CloudJoy. You can watch it from whichever country you are at. We do live streaming, and I think that's also a first in Malaysian history. In fact, I think it's a first in Southeast Asian history to do a live pay-per-view kind of thing. So come and support us.